Today is observed as World Oceans Day. As part of the observation, Oceana Belize sponsored a trip to the Port Honduras Marine Reserve for journalists to highlight the importance of reducing man-made impacts on the environment. Janelle Chanona is the Vice President of Oceana Belize.
I think World Oceans Day is an opportunity to really reflect on just how dependent we are, no matter where we are, on the bounty of the ocean. And you come to communities like Punta Gorda, like the Port Honduras Marine Reserve, and you look at how many communities, Monkey River, Punta Gorda tour guides, all of Punta Negra, and you just realize that every single day the ocean, the sea is so generous with us. They're giving us the proverbial free lunch. We just need to control our appetites. We just need to make sure that we manage it properly, we use it properly, and we enjoy it so that we can appreciate it for what it is.
The theme for this year's Oceans Day, it fits right in and is most appropriate at this time, isn't it?
When you look at World Oceans Day and you look at the theme, and I just think it's part of a growing consciousness of just how dependent we are on the oceans. When you look at the United Nations and their Sustainable Development Goals, and you see how prominently the ocean specifically has played into it, you realize that it's really being seen as a human right, not just something that we use, and then after we've exhausted it, we move on. It's really about making sure we don't put in anything in terms of pollutants, that we extract what we need to survive, that we manage it sustainably, that we are able to share it with our young people. Looking at these things as human rights, I think really underscores that dependence and the importance of making sure that if used properly, if managed sustainably, we can use that for generations to come.
While the Oceana VP is pushing the conservation message, rangers in the Port Honduras Marine Reserve continue to keep a watchful eye on activities that are harmful to the environment. One of the areas of concern remains a proposed development in the Snake Keys area. While it is a private development, the project will have far-reaching impacts, according to Program Manager for TIDE, Jovia Franco.
They presented the EIA to the public as well, and TIDE and the public has different concerns about what they want to build on the island. For one, it's on a conservation zone, right? So that creates, it put different boundaries for these contractors who just come and say they just want to put this or put that. So definitely we are aware, and I think TIDE is working closely with these contractors to try to be more eco-friendly.
I sit on the National Environmental Appraisal Committee, which is NEAC, which is responsible to look at all these developments across the whole country, with a fine-tooth comb, basically going through it and figure out all of the inconsistencies, look at all the impacts and see whether a development is really worth doing. One of the things with this development in particular is, you rightly said, it's kind of a big development for a small key. One of the things, again, when you notice coming in, you see these rocks right around this island, and that's because this key has been eroding a lot, and it's not just this key, it's actually all of the keys in this area. So it's a huge concern for anybody who wants to do a development. A couple of issues with this EIA as well is things like land tenure and so on, and so the NEAC had asked the developer to go back to the drawing board to revisit the design, do another public consultation to ensure that they've taken into consideration all the concerns that the community had. So
as a representative on NEAC, you talked about that private development, but give me your opinion on, do you know of any concessions for oil exploration that would impact this area?
We are aware that Providence Energy had the concession some years ago. It was, I think it expired last year or the year before as well. And we are also aware that they applied for renewal of that concession. And this takes me back to a question I think Janelle had, or somebody would ask about the possible impacts to this area if something like that would happen. I can't imagine a situation where you would have, something like an extreme event like an oil spill, just take for example, or even something as simple as seismic testing within the marine area. When I started at Tide in 2003, I didn't see any manatees, I didn't see any dolphins out here. Now, I see manatees and I know of at least 6 resident parts of dolphin that lives in this area more than 6 months for the year. And we all know, you've heard the stories about seismic testings and marine mammals and how they're affected by that. So that's one. You're talking about at least 60 to 70 fishermen, commercial fishermen who depend on this area for their livelihood. If you times that by the amount of people in their family, which is honestly roughly an average of 4 people per family, that's already 240 people being affected directly. And that's just commercial fishers.
I think we really seized on this opportunity to bring our media colleagues out to this area where we're here. And to me, it's so important that we show Belizeans what it is that we've been blessed with. I think every time we sing the national anthem, we sing wealth untold, but sometimes it's hard to figure out what that is. So you come to a place like this and you realize just how blessed we are, just how much of a jewel we really are. You get to begin to appreciate what it is that is used in every marketing. These are the images that the airlines use to tell people fly to Belize. These are, the real estate images, come and retire in Belize. And yet, because maybe we take this birthright a little bit for granted, or we don't know the value of it, we're still talking about risking it with things like offshore oil. And I think by bringing this to the public, that's where the leverage is, because so long as people only observe and listen and they're not willing to act, things that should not be approved by the relevant government agencies get approved. And it's only after the fact it's like, wow, I never knew it was that beautiful, I never knew it was that important, I never knew that was what we had out there.